Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool's leader. Virgil van Dijk has introduced a huddle with his teammates shortly before kickoff to Liverpool's pre-game routine, part of putting his stamp on the captaincy. The Dutch defender views it as a powerful way of showing their togetherness as he goes through some last-minute instructions. It also serves to fire up the fans by demonstrating that Jurgen Klopp's side are ready for duty. Van Dijk was the natural successor when Jordan Henderson left for Saudi Arabia in July. He commands respect and leads by example. Wearing the armband is a source of huge pride for the former Celtic and Southampton centre-back, and he has embraced the extra responsibilities that come with it. He has naturally become a more vocal presence around the training ground in recent months and has been a great support to summer signings Alexis Mac Allister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Wataru Endo and Ryan Gravenberch, welcoming them and ensuring they have everything they need to make their adaptation to life on Merseyside as seamless as possible. There's also been no shortage of advice for emerging youngsters such as Jarell Quansah and Ben Doak. James Milner, a stickler for discipline, may no longer be around either to impose the fines, but the leadership group, which besides Van Dijk includes vice-captain Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, Alisson and Mohamed Salah, still ensures punctuality for team meetings and travel, as well as reinforcing that wearing the wrong attire in a given situation is clamped down on. Standards have been maintained, and the fund for social events topped up. The traditional initiation of karaoke for the new boys did not take place in pre-season, but they haven't got away with it. Plans are afoot for them to take center stage when the schedule allows time for a squad night out later in the campaign. There was a fear when Liverpool lost so many big personalities and so much experience in the summer that there would be a void, both on and off the field. However, what's been created over the past few months feels new and vibrant. Towards the end of last season, everyone was drained, said Van Dijk, after a fifth-place finish that meant no Champions League football this campaign. It was such a disappointing season. We didn't find the consistency. I definitely sense a different vibe and energy in the club. It's something to be excited about as a Liverpool fan. We play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. We're very privileged. Let's be proud and enjoy our time together. They certainly savoured Saturday's hard-fought Merseyside derby triumph, which briefly sent them to the top of the Premier League table. It was far from a classic, but Klopp's side was the dominant force throughout. Patience proved to be a virtue as they belatedly broke Everton's stubborn resistance, following the first-half dismissal of Ashley Young. Yes, there was an element of good fortune attached to the outcome, with Ibrahima Konate lucky not to pick up a second yellow for a foul on Beto when the match was still goalless. But Liverpool, who have been on the wrong end of some contentious decisions this season, got what they deserved as Salah scored from the penalty spot following Michael Keane's handball, before sweeping home Darwin Núñez's pass deep into stoppage time. The glory belonged to the prolific Egyptian, who has now either scored or assisted in each of his past 13 top-flight appearances at Anfield, 14 goals, 3 assists. Only Alan Shearer, runs of 18 and 17, and Thierry Henry, 17, have ever done so in more consecutive home appearances in the competition. Salah's double also took him past Sir Kenny Dalglish and Steven Gerrard into 6th place on the club's all-time list of goals at Anfield on 105. Only Gerrard, 9, has scored more Merseyside derby goals than Salah's 7 in the Premier League era. However, it was Van Dijk's performance which was the most compelling. Liverpool won't fall off a cliff without Salah. Liverpool wouldn't fall off a cliff if Mo Salah left at the end of the season, according to West Ham's Michail Antonio. The Egypt forward had been the subject of interest from the Saudi Pro League in the summer, and it is expected this will continue in upcoming transfer windows. The 31-year-old has scored 7 goals in 9 Premier League games this season, but, speaking on the Footballers Football podcast, West Ham striker Antonio feels fans shouldn't be worried. "I don't think they'd fall off a cliff if Sulla left. It would be a massive miss, especially with all the goals he brings to the club, but I feel like if you do it right, which Liverpool have been, we have seen it in the transfer market, Liverpool definitely know how to buy a player," he said. "I feel like they have got the time now to go out and scout and find a player that they need to add to gel with the squad, which they have done even this summer, then he probably won't be fully missed. It's just trying to adapt. That's one thing you have got to do in football. You are constantly trying to adapt because football is constantly changing." Newcastle forward Callum Wilson agreed, adding, "Football moves on and evolves so quickly that yes, he will be a big miss in that early transition period, if he goes. When any player leaves a club for the first initial part, you notice the gap that they have left. When Liverpool got rid of Sadio Mane, it was noticeable at first, and then all of a sudden they dip into the market and find a hidden gem or player that not many people have heard of or seen, and they turn good at Liverpool. For the money you get for one player who is over 30 now, you could buy probably 2 or 3 players for that, so you're definitely going to find a more than adequate replacement for him." Liverpool told to sign Mo Salah replacement after Jurgen Klopp's already gone admission. Mo Salah was the subject of strong Saudi Arabian interest during the summer transfer window, and a former Red has already picked out an ideal successor should he leave Anfield. Liverpool have been urged to sign Napoli sensation Kvicha Kvaratskhelia should Mo Salah leave Anfield. The Egyptian forward has been strongly linked with a move away from the club over the past year. Saudi Arabian side Al Ittihad were interested in signing him in the summer and had a series of bids rejected by Liverpool. Talk over an exit has not subsided, and former Red star Stephen Warnock has suggested that Kvaratskhelia could be an ideal replacement should Salah be sold. Speaking to TalkSport, he said, "Everyone's replaceable. I've said it about Suarez, I've said it about Coutinho, and he, Salah, will be replaceable in time. I think the big problem is with Salah. If you get a £175 million offer from Saudi Arabia, that's difficult to say no to. I wouldn't sell him in January, but maybe next season, but only if you've got someone else lined up. You'd have to have someone exciting lined up. The one player that springs to mind is Kvaratskhelia. He's the one player you look at where you think he's young and has potential and can play, but he's a left-sided player. Could he play on the right? A deal for Kvaratskhelia will not be cheap under any circumstances." The Georgian winger's agent said last November that any deal would be worth around €100 million, £87 million. That price will likely have increased since. The 22-year-old scored 14 goals and notched 17 assists last term as Napoli won Serie A and reached the Champions League quarter-finals. He actually came up against Liverpool in the competition last season, with Jurgen Klopp expressing his admiration of the forward. The German said, "He is a good player, both are good players. It was a really difficult one. I know people will talk about 1 or 2 situations with Trent Alexander-Arnold, when he tried to get in front of him and the ball goes through. He is really good, the boy. Really quick. We have to defend it well together in these moments. When he has the advantage of the first moment, then he is already gone. You have to try to be there in the moment when the ball arrives. If you cannot to do that, you need to be protected because he has speed. He is cheeky, he can go inside, he goes outside. That always makes him difficult. A good player." Kvaratskhelia has continued his excellent displays this term with 1 goal and 4 assists to his name so far. He has 4 years left to run on his contract at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Meanwhile, his potential predecessor Salah is in the midst of another impressive season. The 31-year-old has 6 goals and 4 assists to his name in all competitions heading into the October internationals.